Hey guys, this is David. Welcome back behind the velvet rope. Hi.
Hi, how are you?
You know what happens when you are on the show twice?
What?
You are an official friend of...
An official velvet roper?
You're an official velvet roper. We have Blair Late, formerly of Newlyweds, the first year fame.
The details.
Yes, for all of you who have never watched that show, or for all of you super millennials who have never heard of the show.
True.
It was on Bravo. It is a Bravo show that was on for 3 years, 2013 to around 2016, I think. Mm-hmm. So we have actual Bravo talent, but I had to invite you back. I mean, we just have so much to talk about.
We have so much fun. We're cultivating a great friendship.
We are. We met at BitSesh. We bonded over Casey Wilson.
Yes.
We bonded over Danielle Schneider.
Yes.
And here we are. So what has been going... Now, here's the thing. You have told me through our friendship of hanging out, you've told me some stories.
Yes.
Listen, Behind the Velvet Rope, for all of you listening for the first time, and we always love new listeners. We are getting new listeners by the week.
Amen.
We are not a Bravo podcast recap show. We do not want to be that. Listen, we talk about some things sometimes, but this really is about observing housewives when the cameras stop rolling and when reality gets real. Not just housewives, but Bravo celebrities in general and other famous people too. So you have a lot of stories in real life.
Oh my gosh. I have been blessed with the opportunities to spend some funny times, I suppose, with various housewives and Bravo celebrities.
Because I can tell you where I want to start.
Sure.
I mean, we're gonna start with some small potatoes.
Okay.
So, and then I have some stories too. Now, just because you're from Texas, what did you know? And where are you from in Texas?
I'm from Midland, Odessa, Texas, which for those of y'all that don't know, it's the home of the famous TV show and movie and book Friday Night Lights.
Okay.
It's the home of the Bush family. And yeah, I'm from there. But my family eventually moved to Austin, and they have a wonderful life there.
And okay, now how close is that to the question? I mean, I don't care about.
Are we going
Houston.
to Dallas?
I would like to know how close.
So
it
Austin
is
is like a 2.5, 3 hour drive from Dallas.
Okay.
And Austin socialites, and you have to understand, Midland, Texas, where I'm originally from, Midland, Odessa, is, I think it's like 18% of the oil in the entire world, not just the United States, but the world, comes from Midland, Odessa.
Really?
So old oil money in Midland travels fast to Dallas and Austin and Houston.
And so, I mean, do you know any of the gals? And it's okay if you don't.
Well, I'll never forget. So the first season when Dallas came out.
Yes.
Well, actually, side note. So originally when Bravo was developing an idea to do a Housewives show in Texas, they actually went to Austin as well. And they were barking up the tree of many women in Austin, including my stepmother. And
really?
Yes.
So
we're not going to say her name because she's a hot mess.
That's fine. But your father's married now, currently.
Remarried, yes.
And that is the woman who's your stepmother.
Correct.
And they were barking up her tree.
If there was a Housewives of Austin, she would have been
the
Ramona / Jill / Heather Dubrow.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so let's just – so would you have moved home to Texas?
Oh, hell no. I mean, I would have loved for them to have done it because I think it's kind of funny, and she would have made for great television.
They could have shown her visiting you in New York.
For sure.
Okay, so she was in the mix. So
when Dallas eventually came out, all of Texans frowned upon Dallas because honestly, as is always in the Housewives world, with the exception of probably Beverly Hills, it was the D list of Dallas originally. In fact, I did Radio Andy on Sirius XM on Amy Phillips' show. They had me come in and be the reviewer of the Dallas Housewives, being an original Texan and knowing that world so well.
All right, stop. This is why we have you on the show, because the little things that you don't think are important here are important.
Okay.
So let's just pause for a minute.
Yes.
I am obsessed with
pause.
Amy Phillips.
She's amazing. She is so freaking talented.
For
It's not
anyone
even
that
funny.
doesn't know, Amy Phillips is the one who does the impressions of literally every housewife.
Yes.
She does. I mean, some of my favorites are, I think she does a great Bethany.
She does a great Bethany, a great Ramona. She does a great Erica Jane. She does a great Dorit, a great Lisa Rinna.
And a great Renna. And she does a great Heather Dubrow.
Oh, you know what? I don't think I've heard her Heather
She talks
Dubrow
about the
recently.
shams. Every other word is shams. shams,
Fair
shams.
enough. Yes, and I love Heather Dubrow.
Now, I don't know if I ever saw her do Dorit.
Oh yeah, remember she
Really?
did the reenactment by herself, every character of the scene, and were they in China, Hong Kong, or
That's
Shanghai?
possible.
And she remember the scene when Erica Jane goes off about her son, "Don't talk about my son," kind of thing. She did
I
a
do
whole
now.
reenactment of that.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Okay, so what do you mean that? So when?
So Texans frowned upon Dallas Housewives the first season.
But when were you on Amy Phillips? Like 3 years ago? The show's only been out. Really?
Yeah.
How'd
I've been
you get
on
that
it multiple
gig?
times. They just asked me because I was, I guess, a D-list Bravo celebrity, kind
my
of with Kathy
gosh.
Griffin, and that was a joke. She's much more fabulous than I am, but they knew I was a Texan and wanted me to come on as kind of the Texas expert. And so my biggest complaint after season 1 aired, or during it airing, was that they didn't really have they didn't capitalize on the traditional old money Dallas. But season
a
2,
huge
my
part.
friend, changed the game when they
Wow.
brought in Kameron Westcott and your friend Deandra, who, and I'll never forget, like, it came out in the press that they were adding these new people, and my father, who is straight, white Republican, called me and said, Blair, you remember you have hung out with Cameron's husband. You took him out one night. And I was like, what are you talking about? Well, long story short, in Texas, specifically in Austin, is the University of Texas, UT, Hook 'em Horns. And we had a box at the stadium for all the college football games. And one time, my father reminded me that we hosted the Westcott family. So this is the Westcotts him Court marrying Cameron. He was single at the time. And
So it was
we're
just-
around the same age.
So it was just him. It was no Cameron.
Yeah, it was just him and his
Okay.
parents. And I was given the task. This is when I was in a boy band living in Germany, but I just flew in for the weekend for like a big football game. And my father essentially was like, you need to take this guy out. And because essentially I'm a good wingman, let's say that.
Okay,
And
so you flew in,
I flew in for the weekend to go to some big football game.
and your father wanted to impress the Westcotts because they're
Correct.
a big deal in Texas.
They're a huge deal.
Okay.
Yes. And so I took out Court Westcott.
Huh.
And we had a fun little night. I mean, nothing bad happened or nothing crazy
What'd you
happened.
do? Drink?
We just drank a lot and went out to some bars, and I introduced him to some pretty women when he was single. And
So he's a fun time?
oh, he was lovely. And I think a lot of people kind of hate on them, and I completely disagree with that perspective that people seem to see. I find he was lovely. His family is lovely.
Did he go home with a girl?
Oh, I honestly do not remember.
Okay, because listen, you can share these details here.
No, I would
You're
tell you
amongst friends.
if I had some story, I would tell you.
I mean, it's not like you're saying he cheated on Cameron. Like, this is
Again, he was
pre-Cameron.
single, yes.
Yeah.
But and he had a brother. It was like I forget the brother's name, but they were similar names. It was like Court and Cott. I mean,
Court and Camden, maybe.
no, it wasn't Camden, but anyway.
Could you get any more waspy than the name Court?
Yeah, Blair Madison.
That's a
And my sister Olivia Claiborne.
touche. Claiborne's a great name.
Yes. Well, I want to have a boy named Draper Banks, and a girl named Delta Claiborne.
Okay, because I can tell you, I want to have my first child. Oh no, guys, just FYI, I want no children ever. But
Nor do I. I just like the name.
yeah, I kind of want to name children. So
Yeah.
my first child is going to be named Doherty, whether it's a girl or
that's
a
a cute
boy.
name.
Doherty,
Very Irish.
So girl, and the second child is going to be named Gray, not Grayson. This is unisex, whether it's a girl or a boy.
Right.
And GREY for a boy, GRAY for a
But see,
girl.
I do first and middle because I like double names.
I can see that. Then when I have my third child, my third child is going to be named Shields.
Shields is a cute name.
Listen, I'm very waspy, even though I'm a nice
Okay,
Jew.
well, let's have like a bunch of kids and have a foster house.
And can I tell you something? My 4th child is going to be named Ford.
Love that.
And my 5th child is going to be named Apex. There's my family.
The last one I don't like.
You don't like Apex?
I'm going to be honest. That's the only one I don't like.
So Kim could have Saint and whatever they're called. I have my children.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you took out Court.
Yeah.
Court.
Court Westcott.
And then that was it. You never spoke to him again.
No, I don't. I mean, not really. No.
And
but when they came on, they did change that the rhythm.
Because what
of
Dallas
that
is
show.
all about. So it really is true that Dallas has these like society families. Is that what it is?
100%. Yes.
And what is it? Just like the old money of Dallas?
Old money and kind of, having your social circle and flaunting it around and loving it and living it. And I mean, anyone in Texas, even if they didn't go to UT, you go to the UT games and you stay in a box with the governor or with my father, etc. It's definitely a fun social time. But they were all, the Texans were slightly devastated by the Housewives of Dallas initially. In fact, I created a show. So I was the youngest person non-producer who became a producer to sign a deal with ITV Studios, the producers behind American Idol, The X Factor. I had a production deal with them, and so I sold them a show called Texas Royalty, but spelled Roilty, like oil, royalty.
Oh, wait a second.
And this was shot
That's
in
nice.
Midland, Odessa. It did not go to series, but we shot a pilot, and it was fabulous. And that was what I shot was what the Housewives of Dallas should have been originally. It's kind of, Leanne Locken is reality TV gold, but she's also, in my opinion, the reason that show never worked. So it's kind of a fine line with her because she kind of was the centerpiece of that show.
Yeah.
And my mother has since been at a charity function in Dallas and sat at a table next to her and told me how god-awful she was. Which is to no surprise
God
of
awful
the
what?
listeners.
Like
she was just tacky and all over the place, and she just thinks she is the bee's knees, as they say.
And she's not a Westcott.
She's not close to any of that. She's not even in relation to the Westcott's housekeeper.
Okay, so they didn't, and then what? They probably just said, let's revamp. I can't think of, because I have no memory, because from the vodka, who first season was gone. I don't remember. I know Cary Deuber.
Remember Leanne had a friend.
She did.
Her one.
Oh.
The one who was married to a wannabe Australian country singer who looked like Keith Urban or whatever.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
She's made since cameos.
Oh my God.
And then they had Cary Deuber, who is she's fabulous.
She's got money.
But she was a Connecticut like you are, which is nothing wrong with Connecticut.
Thank you.
But when you're doing a show about Dallas
is
housewives,
she from Connecticut?
Cary Deuber's from Connecticut.
Are you kidding me?
Like you and Dorit. Yeah.
I would love to know where she's from in Connecticut. I'm gonna have to Google this.
Yeah, I don't remember quite.
So I could have grown up with her instead of Dorit, is what you're saying.
Or both of them. But my point is they just didn't have any true traditional old money Texans.
Right.
And then they brought in, like my dad told me when he called me that day when it came out that they were bringing in these new women. My dad was a friend of Deandra's mother. And
Mama D.
And then he reminded me that I had taken Court Westcott out on a night of fun in Austin. So I was all in. And those two definitely shifted the cast of that show and made it for the better. I don't think Deandra has necessarily, I know she's your friend, but I don't think she's necessarily lived up to it since her debut. But Kameron certainly has.
So you think, so in Dallas, there was like a sigh of relief in the sense of like, okay, at least we're getting some old blue blood money.
Yes.
And have you had like a lot of in real life experiences with Deandra?
Oh, I've never met her. No.
Oh, you'll meet her through me. So you feel that but you feel Kameron has represented very well.
Kameron, the only thing Cameron's missing is a Texas accent. Otherwise, she is as pure old money Texan housewife as it gets.
And would you buy Sparkle Dog for your dog if you had one?
Sure, why not?
By the way, our researchers from the control room just came in. Thank you guys. Cary Deuber, you really know your facts.
I have a photographic memory, yes.
Oh my God. She was born in Hartford, Connecticut. Not quite the same as where Dorit and I grew up, but.
Is Hartford where Yale is, or is Hartford the capital? Or both?
New Haven is where
sorry.
Yale is.
Yes.
Close. Mm-hmm. New Haven's actually a very cute city, and honestly, Sally's Pizza in New Haven is, I'm not even just saying this, the best pizza.
Who's the good? Can your control room also remind us who the hot senator is from Connecticut that I'm so obsessed with?
Hot senator?
I think he's hot. I mean, most people probably wouldn't.
Yeah, I can't think of who that would be.
He's so cute. He's like my type.
Older?
Yeah, of course.
Like a current senator?
Yeah, current. He's currently a senator from Connecticut.
Hot. I don't have time.
He's so cute. He
really?
he's very anti-Trump, and he does a good job about it.
Interesting. All right, control room. Can someone find hot senator?
I mean, most people would say he's not hot. They would say he's kind of daddy type, but it's so
not like,
freaking cute.
What's his name? It's not like
he's like a Paul Ryan, but Democrat.
No, Paul Ryan's a good one.
I know.
And you know who I think is hot too?
Who?
I mean, okay, along these lines, let's just remember
we shifted from Bravo to NPR listeners,
No,
FYI.
but let's just remember I usually date younger. Again, there's no agenda, guys. There's no choice. Like, it's not like I have it set. It's just that's what happens in life. But if we're on that, Anthony Scaramucci, I think is hot.
He's cute, but he's short.
Oh, he's cute. He was on Celebrity Big Brother. So
his wife was rumored to be a New York housewife replacement, but she didn't
rumor
get it.
Is she wanted it. That was the
rumor.
As
I told you in a previous few weeks ago on our past episode, when you leak your future casting prospects to Page 6, that normally means you end up not getting it.
It's over. Mm-hmm. It's over. All right, so you don't really know any of the Dallas ladies, but I could see that
they're still no offense to any of them. Because I do believe Stephanie Holman is quite fabulous.
She's amazing. She has money.
But they're kind of the laughingstock of Texas, I have to be honest.
I could see that.
And I made that very clear on Amy Phillips.
Listen, in a way, the New York housewives are the laughingstock of New York.
Right, but I'm not a New Yorker, even though I live here now, and I worship them like the bee's knees.
A lot of people worship them. Listen, I love Leah McSweeney, love Countess Luann. Love Ramona.
I love Dorinda when she does her voice where she slurs her words.
I'm glad you love Dorinda.
She was a great Dorinda.
I think you should. Well, a lot of people.
What Dorinda did to New York is what Heather did to OC, which was elevate it. And I'm sad to see Heather gone. I wish Heather was back, but now there's no chance in hell because Kelly Dodd now is the star, and Kelly and her can't stand each other.
Do you know what the rumor is? Allegedly. The rumor is, by the way, Paul and Terry are the nicest human beings. I've met them both. But allegedly, because you didn't get fired from a lot, allegedly Heather drove the producers insane, which I could believe.
Well, I listen to her podcast, and she sometimes drives me insane, but she's still pretty damn fabulous.
I'm getting a call from Lori Cooper, Realty. I'm not answering it.
I love me some Laura. Are we going to meet her for drinks later?
She's
for tea for her.
You can meet her anytime you want. Even though I already got you a picture with her, we'll meet her again. Now, okay, let's switch gears from Dallas to, because you keep teasing me. You tell me you have a Vicki story.
I have the best Vicki.
I want to hear about Vicki
Gunvalson story. So,
do you know I made her cry at BravoCon?
No. Oh, I think I heard this on your show. You told her she was the most relevant or something, and
I told her that she's just listen. I never.
You're just a kiss ass.
Everyone says that. Here's the thing: I never loved Vicki. Like, I love her, but I never. In real life, she was never warm and fuzzy to me. She's not as nasty as some of the others.
Right.
But when she got demoted, I felt it. I felt for her. You just have to be an underdog for a minute for me, and I feel for you. So I felt for her, and I told her, I said, you're the OG, and it's disgusting what they did to you, and everyone should show respect. And it was just very sincere. And she was just like,
you meant that,
yeah, she was just like, got teary-eyed.
Well, so I have a great Vicki story.
Tell me.
I had these fabulous friends when I was living in LA for 10 years. This boyfriend and girlfriend, Shannon and Sean. And Shannon's brother, so Shannon grew up behind the gates in Kodo.
Okay.
They were like practically neighbors with Vicki. Shannon's had a brother who played soccer with Michael Gungle, whatever his last name, Gunvalson, I can't say it, but
Gunvalson, yeah.
So over the years, they knew that I was fascinated with Bravo and the Housewives, and then when I started shooting my own Bravo show, Michael and I got, we were buddy. We used to hang out at this beach house in San Clemente, which is about an hour drive from Coto. So one time we were all in San Clemente. It was 4th of July weekend, and Vicki had a huge party at her house, the house that you still saw on the show up till her demise. And so Michael invited me over. So I go over there, and of course, by the time we get there, the party, like the cameras had left and the hobnob had left, and it was a small group. So I get there, and I go to that backyard with that tacky swimming pool that reminds me
of
that.
The grotto, right?
Yes, it reminds me of the that hotel in Vegas that's also very tacky. Well, there's so many. The Mirage. It reminded me of the Mirage swimming pool.
So you were at the party.
No, I was at the after party of the party. When I showed up with my friend Shannon, it was only 5 people there. So it was Vicki.
So the party was over.
The party was over.
Okay.
We got there like at maybe 11:30, let's say.
And did you know you were going to the Queen, Vicki Gunvalson?
Yeah, because her son invited me. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, he was like my friend.
You knew. Okay.
So, and he knew I was like tickled by his mother.
I was a little confused. Now I'm not. Go on.
He played soccer with my friend's brother. Michael did. So,
Michael's gotten a little hotter as he gets older.
Well, I haven't seen him in a long time, but I believe you. So we go over there, and in the hot tub in the backyard is Vicki, her daughter, Brianna, Dawn. This is when she was still with Dawn.
Oh my! I'm already ready to just like piss in my pants. I'm so excited.
Dawn, and then they had this sweet Asian boy who worked for Vicki, who kind of was on the show like for a slight second. If you blinked an eye, he worked for her insurance company.
Okay.
It was like 4 of them, and then myself, and then Michael, and then my friend Shannon. And they're sitting in the hot tub.
And Shannon's a girl, right?
Shannon's a girl.
Okay, Shannon could be a boy.
She's fabulous. She could be our future first lady. Her husband may be our president someday.
Oh my gosh!
Like put this in the vault.
I'm not kidding. Put this in the vault
because I know my shit.
I'll say you. We heard
he owns Snack Nation, which is a huge company that he's done very well. But anyway, so they're in the hot tub playing this game that I had never heard of, but kind of heard of. So you know the game where it's called the alphabet game, where you say A, apple, B, banana, A, apple, B, banana, C, carrot, A, apple, B, banana, C, carrot, D, whatever.
That sounds like a boring game. So but
you go in a circle and you keep adding to the pile, and you have to remember everything. It's like a memory game.
Yeah. Okay.
Well,
you have a photographic memory.
Footnote: they were playing this version with only nasty sexual terms.
Okay.
So it was A, anal beads, B, bareback, C, cunt, D, dick. But it was very graphic.
Vicki, oh my gosh.
And they were playing this game in the hot tub, drinking Coors Light. And were
they all drinking Coors Light?
Oh yeah.
That's so Vicki
and when
I
got to the party, they were on M. So I had to listen to them. They did not get up. They didn't shake my hand. They didn't say hello. And I'm sitting with my feet in the hot tub as big as this table that you and I are sitting on right now. Or sitting around.
It's not big, guys. It's small.
That's what I'm saying.
Vicki didn't acknowledge that you walked in.
Maybe like, hi. But they were literally on M.
Dawn didn't.
M for man hair. I don't know what the hell.
Dawn didn't acknowledge you?
No, I'll give you the whole story. So I had to hear them repeat from A to M to N, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, Z, blah, blah, blah. So it literally, my friend and I sat there for 30 minutes while they were repeating these. D was donkey dick. I'll never forget.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
for a lot of reasons.
So they were playing this game, repeating these words over and over, the most sexual, it certainly wasn't a party anyone in my family would have hosted, or a game they would have played, let's say. And they finally get to Z, finish the game. Vicki gets up and just kind of waddles over back to her house, or to the inside of the house. And then Dawn looks at my friend and I and says, well, if y'all are here to drink, we have nothing left except for what's in the outside fridge. So just don't even come inside to make a margarita. You can have a beer. And of course, she's known this family for a long time. He was just an asshole. Okay.
Really?
Yes. He was so rude. And
Vicki getting up and walking in, that's not so pleasant, right?
No, she wasn't nice or rude. She just was just non-existent, except for saying all these nasty words from A to Z for 45 minutes.
kind of like Ramona when she doesn't acknowledge
She's
me.
very Ramona. I think that's a good
In my
comparison.
experience, I would say yeah. So that was it? Like you never saw Vicki again?
No, but I spent a whole evening for 2 hours in her backyard at her hot tub, an hour of it when she was playing this disgusting A through Z porn game.
And Don basically told you don't come inside.
Yeah.
Like in not
Not
so
like
many
me.
words.
He didn't say it to me,
Yeah.
like he said it
Don't
to
anyone fucking come inside.
Correct.
And don't you dare drink our tequila, but you can have the Coors Light.
in the fridge and the
That's less
outside and that
expensive.
grotto that looks like the freaking
Really?
hotel in
And
Vegas.
Michael was there. Like
Yeah, Michael's a sweetheart.
and
He's
he
a
didn't say
He just was like,
fuck
"Yeah,
off,
whatever."
Don.
I
My
mean,
friends will come in.
I have never felt so unwanted or uncomfortable, except for maybe my divorce. I don't know.
Let me tell you. Well, let me tell you something. You live in New York now. When you run into Ramona and you ask her for a picture, I
would never ask Ramona for a picture.
Don't.
First of all.
Don't.
But here's the thing.
Don't
I
ever.
I can get Ramona because Ramona and her old ex-best friend Jill, I'm not going to say the name, but they are very good friends with someone I have known for a very long time who has more money than they can have tripled combined.
Ramona and Jill are friends with this person.
Correct.
Okay.
This person is how I was hired to work for Jill for a brief summer as her stylist.
Wait a second. Okay, so we don't need to mention the person's name.
We're not.
Honey,
Yeah.
I've had guest co-hosts on this show where I can't even mention their last names. One of my associates, guest is a huge producer for a TV show. Literally, her name is Joan. She's been on twice.
Right.
I cannot mention her last name. I cannot give out an Instagram. I cannot. The writer to book her was so I get it. So you don't need to mention the name.
No, I know I don't.
And you know what? Nobody listening to this podcast even gives a shit. She's loaded. It doesn't matter. She knows.
We're talking
Jill.
Bloomberg money in comparison
Fine.
to Trump money.
Now let's focus. She knows Jill and Ramona. So
Very
how-
well. They go on her yacht.
Now, how is it? Okay, so you were hired by Jill.
And if you want to Google the most expensive real estate purchase in American history in the last 5 years, you can maybe find out the name.
Oh, all right. Control
Hamptons.
room. Control room. You guys, come on. You have two things to do now. Okay, so wait. So
Yeah, where's that senator from Connecticut control room?
And I've even Googled it. I can't find it, so they're going to have to step it up. But wait, so how did you get hired by Jill Zarin?
So at the time, I was styling Miley Cyrus and Eva Longoria.
What?
Yeah.
Wait, so
We
in
didn't
addition
get into
to
that in the
no,
last
so boy
chat.
band you styled people.
I worked for Intermix. So from boy band, I got hired by Intermix to be the head of celebrity studio services. So I was in charge of getting our clothes on celebrities.
Okay.
And I did really well doing that. And my biggest clients at the time were Miley Cyrus and Eva.
Those are
and-
pretty good names.
Yeah, and this was in the height of the real Real Housewives, aka
Desperate
Desperate Housewives.
Housewives.
So
I love
I'll
Marsha
never forget
Cross.
one time I do too. One time I received a phone call from said friend. We'll call her Lily because it's
Were you living in New York
the
now,
name
or
of a
this is
flower.
LA?
I was in LA.
Okay.
And Lily calls and says, do you watch The Housewives of New York? I said, do I watch The Housewives of New York? I'm obsessed. This was just after season 1. So this is like the era of when Ramona claims that she made The Housewives, right?
I would say at that point, Jill made New York Housewives.
Right. But
I mean,
remember
I feel-
Ramona got in that
yes.
fight on BravoCon or
Yes.
whatever saying, with Vicki, remember? Like,
That there was no OC before.
correct. Yeah,
New
yeah.
York.
And so it was in between season 1 and season 2. So this is a long time ago. And this is when Bravo used to do a show called the A-List Awards, I believe is what it was called. It was like a silly award show for reality, which I don't know why they
Yeah.
never kept it up because it's
I
a
kind
brilliant idea. But anyway.
Did you watch the show The A-List on Logo?
Oh
it
my
was-
God,
it
about
was
the gay
like-
guys in New York.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, they were all
had A-List
dreadful.
Dallas.
Oh, yeah. Did you know any of those people in Dallas?
I never knew any of them.
They were all dreadful.
One of them was the one was hot.
Do you know who from New York, the one that I kind of knew was, I forgot the first
the one
name.
who was dating Lance Bass?
Yes, who was on Amazing Race.
I've met him a few times, yeah. But
He's kind of an asshole.
yeah, I hear
I
he has a
thought.
little pee-pee too. But
Oh, really? Lance Bass also.
Well, no,
I've
Lance
never
is very
had,
nice.
Really? That's what's. I have to meet him again. I haven't had.
I've been on his podcast and been to his home.
Really?
He's lovely.
All right, he's a lovely person. I don't know him that well. No, I mean for real, I don't. So I have no right to talk. Okay, so so
This
Jill.
is if
Back
there's
to
not an
Jill.
earthquake in this room right now because of the name dropping. I don't know.
But
what
do you
is.
know? Listen,
But that's why I'm here. So I get it.
Okay, can I
But,
tell you
just
something?
letting you know, like this is not how I talk every day.
no, this is behind the velvet rope. This is what we
Exactly,
do here.
yes.
But can I just tell you something?
What?
I've never told anybody this. Okay, I've told some people this. I've never admitted this on air. This is a big revelation.
Okay.
The name of this podcast almost was Name Dropping with David Yontef.
I think let's maybe
You
change
like
the
that
name.
one too?
Name dropping is a fabulous name.
It is, but then it's like, granted, they're both negative connotations. Behind the Velvet Rope is
I don't think
negative
behind
as
the
well.
velvet rope
You
is
don't?
negative at all.
It doesn't make me elitist.
No.
Okay. Listen, this name tested better in market research.
Oh, okay. Well, it
just
was.
telling you.
It clearly wasn't the same market research, or maybe it was the same market research that decided against Newlyweds versus Newlyweds.
I love Newlyweds. So wait, so go back to Miss Zarin.
Yes. Okay. So I get a phone call from Lily one day. That's the fake name. Saying, hey, I know you're busy in LA, but do you watch The Housewives in New York? I said, hell yeah, I'm obsessed. It had just finished the first season. And she said, well, my dear friend is Jill, and she's looking for a stylist to help her with the A-list awards and then for season 2. I said, where and when? I'll be there. So then I talked to Jill, and she was lovely, and I was a huge fan. And so I flew out to New York and stayed here for a week.
Flew out to New York with your own money?
Yes, I believe I paid. I mean, because the rest of the story I remember quite well. I don't remember who flew me out. I'm pretty sure I flew out because I stayed with a friend.
So Jill didn't put you up?
Oh, no, absolutely not.
And Jill probably...
I stayed with my friend who used to run Intermix.
Okay.
Because that's where we got a lot of the clothes.
Okay.
If you go back and look at season 2, she wears a lot of high-waisted leopard belts. That was me. Thank you very much.
But
But anyway, so I come out and I spend time at her home. Now, at the time, she had a personal assistant named Miss Ann. And
Was she on the show?
no, Ann was never on the show. That's why I was shocked when I met her. She was a transsexual, I believe.
Really? Okay.
And one of the first things out of her mouth was that she was sleeping with Mario Lopez, who was starring in Chorus Line on Broadway at the time. I know, this is the craziest
What?
story. Yes.
And I think Mario was married at this time.
Correct.
Oh my God.
And I didn't believe
So
her, though. Miss
Jill's-
Ann seemed like a...
Well, people say all sorts of things.
But she seemed like, what do you call them? Like a...
Exaggerator?
No, like
A name dropper?
a big liar.
Oh, okay. A fraud? A cheat? A scoundrel?
Whatever. All of the above.
I
This
mean,
lady was shady.
There's a lot of things. Okay.
So, anyway, I spent a week styling as I'm pouring some red wine.
Yes. I'm glad that you switched from white wine.
I know.
Listen, this is a classic. This is. We're not, in some corner behind a bush. This is behind the velvet rope. We like offer wine here.
So, anyway, I'm styling Jill for a week, and then I finished. We had a great time. I mean, she was lovely.
Really? She was nice?
Oh, she was very nice. She was very nice. The thing about New York housewives that I always have loved and always will love is they're a combination between Designing Women, Golden Girls, and Sex and the City. Meaning they're all just strong, fun personalities that are so watchable.
Kind of like New York as a city.
Well, sure.
We have strong personalities here.
Yes, you're one of them, David.
I am. I am. I mean, I can't dumb myself down and to be a wallflower.
No, and I can dumb myself down if I have to. But
okay,
that's,
let me. But I mean, I
temporary.
could. I listen. No, I could. I take a step back. I have friends that can't. Like, I mean, I could in certain situations.
Right.
You know what I believe though, as far as dating. Not to get off the subject.
Okay.
I believe you should not. Like, I don't believe in put your best foot forward. I believe in just like, here I am and like whatever.
Well, that's because you have a life experience.
I'm also a single mess, but I don't believe like if you come across whatever on a first date, I feel like it's just you're gonna find this out. Like my friend Kim D. We all know I'm very good friends.
Oh
with
yes,
Kim
you
D.
were just on speakerphone with her.
Kim. Yes, before we
She's
started,
had a day.
the phone rang and it was Kim, and I'm like, I'm too lazy to put this to my ear. Blair, sign your NDA. Let's just see what Kim has to say.
Noted.
So, but she like recently went on a date with some guy. Kim makes about as much effort to date as I do, which is not much.
Right.
But she just went on a date with some guy and they went out and she got really fucking shit-faced, which happens. And she like felt bad the next day and then like 2 days later she's like, I mean, he's going to find out anyway. I kind of feel the same way. I don't really enjoy getting shit-faced. Like basically like if I'm gonna get drunk with you, like really drunk, not that Kim and I get drunk every time, but like, you know what I mean? Like just what's the difference? Like you saw me at my worst and I was totally fall down drunk. Mind you, it takes 2 to 10.
Well, you Irish exited me and I still talk to you.
You do.
Because I'm the king of Irish exits too. I love it.
I love an Irish exit.
We talked about that before.
DM us, guys, like, and let us know what you think. Like, Irish exit, okay. Like, yay or nay? I say it's the best way to go.
So I'm going to cut back to the Jill story.
Yeah, please do.
So I finished my job for the week. I go back to California. Now, remember, we had agreed on a fee of, I believe, I'm paraphrasing, but I believe it was like 10 grand for the week to style her or whatever it was.
That's a pretty good fee.
Well, it was a pretty good fee if I had gotten it.
Oh, no.
That's the moral of the story.
Keep going.
So months go by, and I keep emailing Miss Ann, the assistant who claims she's sleeping with Mario Lopez.
Okay.
And who's transsexual, I believe.
And he was in Chicago.
No, he was in the show Chorus Line.
Oh, sorry.
On Broadway.
Chicago Chorus Line.
And so months go by. Eventually, I'm at dinner with the person that originally had set me up with her. We're going to call her Lily. And Lily says, "Did you still not get paid by Jill?" And I said, "No, I didn't." And she said, "I am mortified that you did not get paid and you went out there and you, now that I think back of it," she said, "you flew yourself out, you put yourself up." So she gets on her BlackBerry at the time.
Now you're really dating everyone.
Yes.
You're dating the story, you're dating yourself.
Well, So she gets on her damn BlackBerry and before she gets on the BlackBerry, she opens her purse and gives me a wad of $10,000 in cash.
No.
She says, "I'm paying you." Then she gets on her BlackBerry and says, "I understand you have had problems, or your assistant has had problems paying Blair, so I just want you to know I did it for you." Well, in the social circle world, Jill needs her. She doesn't need Jill.
Yeah.
So Jill, literally, not a second went by, and she wrote right back, "Oh my God, I fired the assistant. I'm so sorry. That was not intentional. Blah, 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 blah. I'll pay you back, Lily." And apparently she did. And that was that. And then years later, it was 2 or 3 years later when Newlyweds came out, and I will never forget, Jill's tweeted on my behalf a very nice, this is now when she was not on the Housewives anymore. So she, and she tweeted, "A star is born" at me on the premiere night of my show.
And did she remember?
I don't think she ever remember. Well, she pretends to not remember that she essentially didn't pay me for 4 months.
And was this intentional? Maybe.
I don't know. It's suspicious.
I love how it's a little suspicious. Listen, I've said this before. These women don't pay for anything.
No, they don't.
I have a lot. It's like that's where you get into
the moral of the story is Vicki doesn't pay for tequila for anybody after 11 o'clock, and Jill doesn't pay for styling services.
No. Listen, this is where it's all smoke and mirrors, a lot of it.
Right.
It's like, I want, one day we're going to do a show. We're not going to do it today, where I want to print out those like celebrity net worths. And I want to go down each, like I have some of them at the top of my head.
Right.
I mean, some of these women don't, it's smoke and mirrors.
That's
like
why Bethany
money.
is such a fabulous story, because she really
did
it on her own.
She does have a
and
great
there's something
story.
to be respected for that.
It was a great idea. Partly luck, but a great
Of course.
idea.
Well,
and lots of hard work.
Luck is preparation meets opportunity, and that was what she had.
And listen, the girl works hard. She's a fucking hustler.
Preparation meets opportunity. She prepared.
Well, I mean, I've talked about this before on the show. Bethany sees me all the time. When she has an appearance, I'm there. And she sees me and she remembers me. Listen, we're not like best friends, the way I am with like, say Dolores Catania. And she certainly doesn't know me as much as like, say I'm friends with like Luann. But Bethany recognizes me when she sees me. Mm-hmm. And finally, because, when Kelly Ben-Simone and I sat down, Kelly said all this shit about Bethany.
Oh, that was riveting.
Right. So finally, when I met Bethany one day, I was like, I have a few minutes, but like I have a podcast. This is what I do. So like, do you understand? Like I am here really like this is my job.
Right.
The minute Bethany understood, oh, this is, she was like, I got it. Like basically like you don't have to keep explaining it. The minute I got a DM from her, not like, hey, David, nice meeting you. I basically like commented on something on her Instagram or like I tagged her in a post. I think that's what it was. I tagged her in a post and she responded like heart, which listen, for Bethany is a lot. Like, you know what I mean? Like once she understood you see me like once every other week, once every month, it's because I have a podcast. Like this is content for my audience because I would do anything for my listeners. Right. She got it. She was like, you're not a crazy fucking psycho. That's like with me. Like she didn't say all this, but it was like this understanding. So she's all business and I really appreciate that.
She's great. She's great. I still think that they should have brought Jill back at this point. I will say.
I totally, I
don't.
I
will tell you a story.
Tell me.
I forgot about this one.
Oh, tell me.
So when I was on the press tour for Newlyweds, my show, and the head of PR or the head of marketing, I guess, for Bravo, we had to do like media training one day. And I remember telling her, I was like, hey, I know Jill. I told you this whole story. And she said, I said, will y'all bring her back? Because I think she needs to be back. She's so amazing. And she said, over our dead body, will she ever come back on Bravo full time because of what she did when she did that taping with Andy and recorded it on her cell phone.
Yeah.
That's when they were done with her forever.
They're done with her forever. I could honestly say this. They're done with her forever.
And that's the head of marketing for Bravo told me that. So
yeah, they're done with her forever. I mean, also the rumor is that she annoyed, and which just doesn't shock me, she annoyed the fuck out of Andy with like, you know, Andy, I want this, I want that.
Well, I also say don't trust someone that doesn't drink, as they say.
She doesn't drink either.
As Abraham Lincoln says, those with no vices have very few virtues. She only drank Diet Coke.
Oh, God. Forget that.
And I was, I'm not going to slander anymore.
What?
Nothing.
Oh, my God. You'll have to tell me off air.
Oh, is it snowing tomorrow?
Yeah. Well, there's other rumors about a certain someone from, I'm not going there, but there's rumors about a certain someone from New York, the cast. Well, two in particular now that it's the same thing about, is it going to snow tomorrow? Now, we'll split up, but I agree with you about the Watch What Happens. That's it. So, I mean, it's interesting that this head of marketing. I disagree with you. I wouldn't want her back at all.
No, I think she would be great back.
I want Miss Drescher back, Aviva. It's not just because I'm best friends with Harry. That has nothing to do with
fabulous.
It. She's fabulous. She's phenomenal.
She was a great housewife. She really was. She really was.
I loved her. Now
So we're I loved Heather. Didn't you all have her too?
Yeah, but I'm not such a I
not
don't,
a Heather from New York.
I love her less than I love. To me, if there was a gun to my head, the two I would want back are Aviva and Kelly Ben-Simone, KKB. The two I would never in a billion years want back, Jill and the most boring person.
See, I would want Jill and Aviva back. I think that'd be a good mix.
I don't want Carol back.
Two divas.
I'm done.
Oh, God. I ran into Carol on the street not very long ago, a few weeks ago.
I'm seeing her in a few weeks.
Well, I said, oh, my God. I literally just all I said was, oh, my God, you're amazing. I love you. And nice? she goes...
Yeah.
She's very awkward in person.
She is awkward.
I mean, she's a typical news producer.
She is awkward. I've gotten pictures with her, but like I'm seeing her in a few weeks. I'll tell you about it. All right. So just speaking of Watch What Happens, though, this is not to segue, but this is the perfect segue.
It is a perfect segue, yeah.
You and so Jill. Now let's talk about you and Watch What Happens.
Yeah, I was in the highest rated episode of Watch What Happens Live. You can check it yourself.
And that was
in 2014.
It was the Newlyweds cast reunion.
Correct.
So it was 4 couples.
Yes.
You and your ex.
Yes.
And what happened? There was all this drama or something?
So, okay, I'll cut to you real quick, though. So 2 days before the recording of Watch What Happens, we went to the Bravo offices, and it was the finale of our show, and everyone was very happy at the time with the ratings and with everything. And so we went to the offices to do like a podcast, I think, at Bravo. And then I had made a sweater for a cardigan for Andy because I had a cardigan line that was sold at Intermix. We didn't talk about that last time I saw you as well.
No.
Called Crest and Letters. So I had a big A, like a cute Letterman cardigan that I made for him. And
Being picked up at
he
Intermix is major.
It was huge. For a non-fashion designer to have a line in Intermix, are you kidding me?
That's major.
My joke is I didn't make money, I didn't lose money, I broke even.
Okay.
But that's another story. But it was quite cool. So gave him a sweater. He could not have been lovelier. That was like 2 days before. Then the night we go to watch what happens that we're all so excited about and everything, it was a Monday night. And if I recall, maybe he was off Sunday or Sunday was a repeat. But all I know is he had been in the Hamptons that weekend. So we're doing Watch What Happens, and he's getting hate tweets out the wazoo because he was so cold and so rude to his guest, a.k.a. myself. And
to all the guests?
He was just cold as ice.
Is it because, like, you weren't Madonna, you weren't Cher?
I don't know what it was, but it was so bad that after the commercial break, he literally announced on camera, live on television, guys, I'm getting all your tweets. I don't hate the Newlyweds cast. I'm just very hungover from my Hamptons weekend. But, like, people were seeing this. You know. And so he was very apologetic, but truth be told, he just was not warm and fuzzy.
You didn't feel the warm
and
fuzzy.
Then 2 years later, he's doing a podcast with his ex-boyfriend.
Yeah.
Who, by the way, side note,
tell me.
When I said this earlier on the podcast, I want to name a girl Delta Claiborne, call her Delta Clay. I said that on Watch What Happens Live, and this guy pulled me aside and said, Claiborne, you realize, is a white supremacist KKK name of a famous person from Georgia in the 1700s or whatever. And I said, well, I certainly didn't know that.
Yeah,
That's certainly not who I'm naming my non-existent non-future daughter.
Right.
But that was weird. Well, 2 years later, those two were on a podcast, and they were talking about the reunion of Newlyweds, and they ended up talking about our demise, my exes and my demise. And they made fun of my highlights, which is why I have not colored my hair in 5 years.
Oh my God.
Now I'm just a dirty blonde as opposed to a fake blonde. So yeah, there you go, people. I stopped coloring my hair because Andy Cohen made fun of it on a podcast.
Oh my God. Now I have a question.
Yeah.
During commercial breaks, because I guess he was being rude during commercial breaks, did Andy just text and not even look or talk to you guys?
Yeah, text, not look. And then at the end of the show,
like there was no
like I brought my mom because I know how much he loves the mothers and the mothers love him. Like that age demographic loves him. And I thought for sure my mom was going to get like the red carpet because my mom is fabulous.
No.
And he could not have been colder to her either. And so, but I still had my tail between my legs, and I went backstage at the end of the show, and I went to his dressing room, and I just said, thank you so much. Like, I just want you to know I respect you and think you're just amazing, and blah. And I just kissed his ass for 5 seconds. And
I'm okay with that.
He couldn't have been nicer when I did that.
Really?
But it was just
Did you just walk into the dressing room, or did you have to knock?
His door was open.
Oh.
Yeah.
And they just let you roam around backstage?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I knew you were the talent for the night.
Right.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And do you remember who your bartender was? Or there was no bartender?
That's a good question, but no, you know what? I don't think we had a bartender because
interesting.
I
need to find this. I don't know if he's ever gotten tweets like that, like during a show.
He literally had to say something. You know what I mean?
Wow. So during your time on Newlyweds or shortly thereafter, did you meet a lot of other, like you met Jill in a different way, like did you meet, it's okay if you haven't, like did you meet Bravo celebrities through being on Bravo?
Oh my God.
Like did you go to the upfronts?
So we did. Oh yes, we did do the upfronts. They were this. Well, this was not the up. This was the ones in the Critics something in Pasadena, California.
Okay.
No, it's CLS or something. It's where they showcase new content for the critics to review.
Yeah.
And so because the year our show came out was the year, I know you're gonna love this because I know you're a Bravo aficionado. It was the year that Princess's Long Island was coming out as well.
God. Do you know that
didn't do very well?
Chanel Omari
Yes.
is blocked on my Instagram. Like, listen, I don't fuck around. Like, if you give me an attitude, I block you. But she's blocked.
I'm going to try to be Southern and nice.
And I'll try to be Southern and nice.
I have never seen such a transformation in my entire life, and that's all I will say.
Yeah. Well, yes. Two things.
I've never seen such a transformation. I was like, blindsided.
Well, there's a lot of Bravo people that I know that have, once I've said I've blocked this human being, there's at least 2 major shows that are currently on Bravo.
I was going to say, she's best friends with your friend Deandra, so you better be careful.
No. They were for a hot minute. They were. I'll just leave it at that. So now let me add that because you just brought this up. There's 3 shows.
Don't you love how,
yes.
Yeah.
There are 3 shows currently on. I don't mean currently like now on.
Right.
I mean like in not Newlyweds. That's canceled. No offense.
That's fine.
Like 3 shows in rotation. 2 are actually on the air now. 1 just recently went off the air after its reunion. 3 different shows where cast members are like, yeah, I want nothing to do with Chanel either.
She seems,
You know what it is?
complicated.
You know what it is? And this is my opinion, and we're all entitled to an opinion in America. I really believe, like I've said this before on a different podcast, in a different episode of this. I believe that everything in life happens for a reason, even bad things. I truly do.
Of course, as long as you learn from it,
Yeah, and like so I don't like to look back in life. And I feel like I'm a very happy person, you know, like that's I really am. Like I say that some people are like, no, I'm like, no, really I am. You know, like I'm really happy. Listen, as long as I wake up and I don't have cancer tomorrow, then I have no fucking problems in the world. But I don't like to look back, and she is so hung up about being on TV, like that she was.
And
now
that's
she's not.
why I
it's like
left
you've got
all
to
that
get over.
shit
You've
to
got to get
have
over
a
it,
normal
girl.
life. You know,
got to move on.
When I met you, that was the first time I had gone to a quote Bravo-esque event.
Well, I go to
about
them.
like 5 or 6 years.
I go to them
kind of
every
ran away
single
from that.
day.
It was for me. It became a fun conversation over cocktails with random people who
Sesh is
probably
great.
don't even watch. No, I'm talking about like being on Bravo and telling people that. Like I kind of hit it. For a long time.
I was the Bachelor and Millionaire matchmaker. I mean, it does not come up.
They asked me to do. So here's the funny other scoop.
Oh my God!
They asked me to. Remember the season? I think it was her last season when they did Millionaire Matchmaker, but only Bravo celebrities were being matched.
Yes.
And they asked me to do it that season, but I was still going through my divorce and I was still deciding whether I was going to sign the papers or not. So like, one part of me wanted to go for it, and then one part of me felt really weird, like. I'm gonna look like a weirdo. Like I just got divorced and now I'm doing this. Like
was
so
that
I ultimately
season,
turned it down. It was like season 9 or 10 or.
And was
season.
it? No, I remember it. Was it right after your?
It was during our divorce, like when they asked me to be on it.
And like
and
right
I was like,
after.
Girl, I haven't signed the papers yet. I'm not sure if I'm gonna be divorced.
You would have been great at it.
Wow. And I wasn't a millionaire either, but they didn't care at that point.
You know who was a Bachelor? So I was on the New York season, the only season that was New York. Now I totally remember that. And you know who was on? Not my episode, but was a fellow Bachelorette. Was Leah McSweeney, the new
who's the new New York? Who? Not, you know, it's been linked. It's been linked this week that Bethany brought her on.
Really?
It's on. It's in some Bethany. They claim that Bethany's that was Bethany's parting gift was saying, "I'm out, but here's who I'm going to get y'all to join the show."
I'll ask her.
It's true.
I mean, I'm going to hear it.
I believe it.
I mean, I'm not going to ask Bethany. I'm going to ask Leah. Okay, and so you met other Bravo celebrities during.
When we did the press tour and did the critics whatever thing in Pasadena, it was just us, the Princesses, Long Island girls. It was Rachel Zoe. It was no one fun. No fun housewives is the truth.
Okay. So, do you realize I would trade almost every house, not every, but I would trade at least a good 70% of the housewives for Zoe. I'm obsessed with Zoe. I absolutely love Zoe. I love the Rachel Zoe project. I loved it with Brad, Taylor, the blonde. That is where we first met Jeremiah Brent, who is
married to Nate Berkus.
Yes, Jeremiah has done very well for himself in the world. Granted, he's also really fucking cute.
You know who's also not very nice in person is Brad. So I did a screen test with Brad and Tabitha. For ABC, they had a new show. It only was one season. It was a daytime show called The Fab Life with Tyra Banks was the kind of Barbara Walters of it, and then there was 4 other co-hosts. One of them included Chrissy Teigen. That's kind of what made Chrissy Teigen.
I kind of remember.
And I tested with Beverly from Not Fashion Police.
Yeah, Beverly Smith.
No, what's the funny lady? Is it Beverly? Am I saying it? The woman, the African-American woman
who
did the after show with the 2 guys from the Atlanta Housewives.
Yeah.
And she had a Page 6 TV
Yeah,
show.
I know exactly who you're talking about.
Yeah, so she and I, Christy,
Bevy
Tegan,
Smith,
Bevy Smith. There
Yeah.
you go. And then Brad, Tabitha, all the people from HGTV. It was like a
Right.
agent only cattle call. For
Everyone
they
wants
invited
this.
ABC invited 50, let's say, of kind of the top kind of reality / teachers of fashion and entertainment people to screen test to do this show. And of course I didn't get it, but
Who got it?
Chrissy Teigen got it.
Okay.
Tyra Banks, and then a man who was like the head of Cosmo magazine, and then who else?
Josie? I think Joe was
He's Asian.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think I remember the show.
Yeah.
Gosh, you really, I don't know. I mean, like, I see what you mean when you say you have a D life past. Listen, no, I say the same thing about myself.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, like when I say to someone I slept at Margaret Joseph's house, like,
Right.
it's not a big deal, but like to the average person, they're like, what do you mean you slept there?
Right.
I'm like, we're friends. And then like I was on, I mean, like, so I get it.
Yeah.
Like people don't realize like you have all this and then you're like, all right, but it like, this
Didn't work out.
Like, what does that mean? Right.
Yeah.
I know. Like, I mean, I'm still like, yeah, it's gotten me. Listen, if it doesn't get you money, guys, and it's not like an actual career, what does it really get you?
Nothing. But fun stories at a cocktail party or
fun
a podcast
stories at a
with
cocktail
David.
party. Yeah, I mean, fun stories at a cocktail party. A couple of things. We're gonna have to wrap it up very soon. So I say this last time, we're gonna have to now invite you back again because we still
Haven't talked about Mel B.
Yeah, this is now twice you have been on where we have not talked about Mel B, who's a pretty significant.
Who's bigger than all the housewives? Let's be honest.
And she's a pretty significant part of your past.
Huge. Yeah.
So we're gonna have to put a pin in that.
But I'll just give you a 5-second cliff notes.
Yeah, because then I have to tell you
leave
two people that I
cliffhanger.
think you look like.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't wait.
They could be a horrible.
Let's put it this way: Mel B was in such a bad. Everyone's read all the stuff on TMZ about her and her ex-husband. She was in such a bad situation. She had to stay at my place one night, and I'll just leave it at that.
Okay, so that's like a whole. That's a whole.
Yeah.
Listen, we talked about Jill Zarin. You talked about two of the OGs here.
Oh,
today.
and I know Lisa Vanderpump as well.
Oh. You know what? Okay, this happens every single time I have somebody on. Like I just had someone else on, and they dropped some major
Your
thing
bombshell
at the end.
Yeah.
All right, so Mel.
Who do I look like, David?
Okay, you look like two people. You know who? Now, does anyone ever? Because people tell me. I mean, when I was younger, mostly. I don't think this, but who do people tell you look like? Anyone? You're gonna be shocked.
My whole life, I've gotten Brad Pitt. I know that sounds like very egotistical.
I think you told me that once.
Yes. Well, I was his ass double in Curious Case of Benjamin Button as well. But.
Mine sounds very egotistical.
And then I get George Michael sometimes because of my beard, I guess.
Okay, I could see George Michael.
And then I get the guy from Grease too,
Maxwell Caulfield.
Yeah,
I could see all of those.
Okay,
do you know who I get? Okay, so mine sounds egotistical too. I'm telling you, this isn't in my head. Most people tell me that they think I look like Brian Austin Green from there.
You do, 100%.
That's my main one that I get, which I'll take that any fucking day.
Yes.
But I don't think any of all the ones you said you do look like, but I think the following too. You kind of look like Brad Goreski. It's the glasses.
Oh, okay.
But you know who you really look like to me?
Who?
Dean McDermott, Tori Spelling's husband.
Pre-alcoholism and fucking
fine.
craziness. Like when they had the Airbnb or whatever.
Yeah, like back in the day. That's who you
when he
really,
was hot. Yeah.
You look. I'm not kidding you. I've been thinking this as you finished the bottle of white and moved on to the red. I'm not judging. I'm just sharing people. That's what I was thinking this whole time. That's who you look like to me. So, all right. So we're gonna have to have you back. We need to have to cover.
I'm about 200 pounds thinner than Dean McDermott.
Yes.
For those that are listening.
Yes. And by the way, I'm gonna have to. This is a whole nother episode. I have a very, very checkered past with misspelling. So I'm gonna have to drop all that at some other point too. This is why
we're behind the velvet rope, David.
And here's the thing, guys. We cannot go to 5 days a week. Like David needs to go out to get content.
He needs to go home and read his book.
Right. To talk about. So I promise you, we have so much to talk about. Just guys, yes, I do need to read my book. I want to read my book.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm going to say?
What? You're never going to read it because you're doing this for the people.
I'm doing this for the people.
You're the Obama of Bravo podcast. You're doing it for the people.
I'm as one of my favorite DMers has said to me, but I can't remember who, I'm doing the Lord's work. And that's why I put on my big girl pants and force myself out every night, Blair.
Yes.
Every night. And seriously, one night a week, I got to start staying home. I have to. I'm not a young woman. But I do it for all of you, honestly, because I, David Yontef, really can best serve you. This isn't about me. It's not my ego. I can best serve you behind the velvet rope. And Blair, I really want to thank you for coming in. Thank you for coming in. Thank you for drinking the wine. And now we have to go out and have a drink.
Oh gosh, okay.
Our other friend has been.
Me,
our other friend has
Is
been.
Nick
DMing
blowing
us.
us up?
Seriously, Nick is blowing us up.
Oh,
I just
dear.
told him we're about to meet him. Thank you so much. You've been great.
Thank you.
Love you much.
Love you much. Love y'all.
Bye, guys. Doesn't matter because she's gonna edit it out. She doesn't see that we're done. That was good.
But that was fun.
Nick is getting a massage first. Desperately need to text me where you all at. Yeah, I have to use it when you're done. Okay. Oh God, I can't even understand Nick's